For over a century, modern militaries have organized their forces through a strict taxonomy. On one side are the combat arms, like infantry and armor, that physically engage the enemy. On the other are the support arms, like logistics and signals, that provide the technical and physical foundation for those units to function. The integration of military artificial intelligence has made this historical classification obsolete. In 2026, communications are no longer a passive transport layer used only to move a message from one point to another. Today's battlespace network actively fuses incoming intelligence, prioritizes targets, and outputs the specific parameters used to direct kinetic strikes. This shift transforms the communications architecture into the cognitive engine of the battlespace. Modern combat power is the product of physical force interacting with digital command capability. Success depends on decision dominance, the ability to sense, process, and act on information at a higher rhythm than an adversary. Because this AI-enabled command architecture generates the tempo required for victory, the arm responsible for its design and operation functions as a direct source of combat power. As military tempo becomes a product of data architecture, the mismatch between institutional classification and operational responsibility creates a structural misalignment in command. Historically, military communications were viewed as a connective wire enabling human-to-human orders. This model was simple. A commander made a decision and transmitted a direct order to maneuver forces over a secure radio. The architecture of a 2026 AI-enabled command post is a complex socio-technical system. Thousands of edge sensors feed raw data into fusion algorithms, which then output synthesized decision parameters to the commander. These algorithms are entirely dependent on the integrity of the data pipelines feeding them. Corrupted pipelines allow poisoned or spoofed data to infiltrate the decision-making process, turning a supposed algorithmic advantage into a liability that degrades situational awareness. Maintaining trustworthy outputs in a contested spectrum requires active network defense. This is cyber electromagnetic assurance, the practice of testing and protecting AI systems to ensure they function within intended parameters. In a contested environment, the integrity of these algorithms becomes a live combat requirement that must be managed alongside fires and maneuver. Information age combat power is generated and sustained through the active protection of this cognitive pipeline. Modern tempo is the relative speed of sensing, deciding, and acting compared to the adversary. Physical weapon systems are neutralized if a force cannot process intelligence fast enough to employ them effectively. AI is projected to accelerate the military decision-making process by performing rapid mission analysis and wargaming in seconds. Defense symposiums are already launching dozens of AI products designed for use by distributed field formations. Every practical application requires dependable connectivity, massive edge computing power, and precise human interface design. This creates a massive integration challenge for joint all-domain command and control, which must synchronize data across land, air, sea, and space domains. A traditional support detachment lacks the doctrinal authority to enforce the common data standards required for joint theater interoperability. Achieving decision dominance across domains requires an institutional backbone designed to sustain algorithmic warfare. The speed of AI-enabled command carries a risk. Opaque algorithms can erode a commander's judgment. This is automation bias, the human tendency to over-rely on automated recommendations during high-stress situations. An AI tool may output a high-confidence course of action that is mathematically sound, but lacks vital moral or contextual factors. Mitigating this risk requires a professional cadre trained in algorithmic red teaming. The signals assurance officer calibrates commander trust, identifies data bias, and mandates the audit trails necessary for human review. Reclassifying signals into a combat role is a safeguard for human accountability, not a move toward unconstrained machine autonomy. Elevating this cadre to a combat arm provides the institutional mechanism to guarantee explainable AI and preserve commander responsibility. Technological advancement is ineffective if the organizational structure remains misaligned. Maintaining a technical support label creates a talent acquisition bottleneck. Highly capable technical officers often leave the service when their branch lacks operational prestige or clear pathways to command. This organizational mismatch also affects professional military education. Without a combat arm championing AI, data-centric staff work remains a niche subject rather than a core component of command training. Without reclassification, the military underinvests in the cognitive expertise future headquarters require. The solution is creating a formalized information and signals combat arm. This arm takes full doctrinal ownership over the command, data, network assurance architecture. Defense policymakers face a choice in how they prepare for the 2026 battlespace. Managing AI integration as a technical service issue leads to operational paralysis. Future combat power must be commanded, connected, protected, and judged. Achieving that requires a combat arm built for the AI age.